guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess Hover. It's so good to have you here. This is Wilson. He is 13 months old, and in here we have a little girl who is growing. She should be arriving in November. Yeah, your sister. And then we have a 5-year-old. I have a 5-year-old daughter as well. And today's video is going to be about what to do if your labor and delivery doesn't go as you hoped it would go, and kind of how to process that. And if you're new here, I'm so excited to have you. I usually make videos like kind of parent related, so moms to be, dads to be, if you're having a baby. I have a whole baby 101 series that I'm going to be adding to here soon, talking about weaning, because this guy no longer breastfeeds, and I'm pretty excited about that. If you are looking for more support, we have a Facebook group called Jess Hover and Friends. Awesome people in there. Go join. It's a private group. I personally am the one who lets you in, and yeah, just come and be a part of that. I would say follow me on Instagram, but one day you can. Yesterday my Instagram account got hacked, so currently I don't have an Instagram, but one day I will. We hope. Yes, and yeah, we're just so excited that you're here. I'm gonna give Wilson away to my good friend Becca so that I can film this with my full attention, but I just wanted him to make an appearance. Yeah, is there anything you want to tell him? Hi. How about this? Yeah. Good job. Okay. Bye bye. So happy to have you here. This video is one that I thought I should make. You like my dress? It's from Nuuly. I feel like it's a bit of a parachute, but that's okay. It's fun. The fun thing about Nuuly, this is not an ad, I pay for Nuuly, but is that I can try things on and it sort of feels like I'm wearing a costume for a few weeks, and then I mail it back, and then if I want to buy something from them, I can. But yeah, this is from Urban Outfitters, but it's from Nuuly. I've been watching these videos back that I've been making while pregnant, and I am out of breath really fast. I hope you're noticing that with me. One thing that I've noticed in my friend group, in the feedback that I hear from moms on a pretty regular basis, is there's this common feeling that happens when somebody goes into their labor and delivery experience thinking it's gonna go one way, excuse me as I adjust my parachute, thinking it's gonna go one way, and then it doesn't, and then it goes a totally different direction. For example, a friend of mine late last year was delivering her son, went into the experience wanting an unmedicated vaginal delivery in a hospital. And I was actually present for this birth. It was really beautiful. But due to a number of different things that happened along the way, she ended up getting an epidural and then ultimately a C-section. And what I found to be interesting and kind of fascinating about her emotions afterwards was that she felt ashamed. She felt like she had failed. Not just herself, but she felt the sense of like, I failed my son. And that little picture is something that I see happen a lot. I also have felt that when I had Wilson. I mean, I did it unmedicated, so I don't know how new you are to this channel, but if you've been around a little while, you know that I had Wilson last year, June 2019, and I did it unmedicated. I just did it without medicine. Okay, I'm not like one way or the other thinking that you should do it with an epidural or without. When I had Eloise 5 years ago, I knew nothing about any of this stuff. After she was born, I kept buzzing the nurse to come into the room to change the baby's diaper because I was so nervous about changing her diaper because I just had no clue what I was doing. My stance is more like, I'm pretty freaked out about every single thing motherhood related, and I feel like I'm winging it. And as I go, I learn a few things, and I want to be able to share that with you. So, okay, that's my like really muddled up intro to this topic. When I had Wilson, vaginal delivery, it was my second unmedicated vaginal delivery, and I thought it was going to go a lot different than it did. I thought it was going to be easier. I thought it was going to be faster. I thought mentally I was going to be more, I don't know, at ease and like kind of on top of my own pain, if that's a thing. Like, I wanted, because I had done it before, I wanted to kind of be like, I'm okay. This is crazy. Sure, this is the worst pain I've ever experienced, but like, I don't need to scream like a wild animal. I've got this. And then I ended up being in labor for days and days and days. And then the actual like most intense part of my labor and delivery lasted a really long time, and he was a huge little man. He was 9 pounds 4 ounces, which is significantly bigger than his sister was. And by the time he arrived, literally is out of my body, I am like screaming. I mean, yeah, I'm screaming. I was so noisy and so just in pain, a lot of pain. And when he came out, I felt immediately ashamed. It was so interesting to me. I like, some of the first words out of my mouth when he was placed into my arms was, I'm sorry. I was saying like, I'm so sorry to Sean for being so loud and for being so whatever, like to Wilson, to my baby. I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm so frantic right now. I have my sister there, Sean was there. I have an amazing woman who's like a mom to me, who was like my birth coach in that room, and they were all really like good at calming me down and being like, hey, you don't have to be sorry, everything is good, you did a really good job. But there was just this sense that like it didn't go as I hoped, and I guess I didn't do what I hoped, and I was sorry, and that's just the craziest thing. And yeah, I feel like that happens pretty consistently. You go into it one way, especially if you're hoping to go into it like, I don't know, maybe with a vaginal delivery and you end up with a C-section, or with an unmedicated delivery and you end up with an epidural. Whatever the expectation is, when it goes a different way, there's a common experience of shame that we feel, of like, I'm sorry to my family, or I'm sorry to myself, or I'm sorry to my kid. It's weird. If you are watching this and you had a labor and delivery experience that didn't look like this, that's so good. And this, I guess, wouldn't be for you, but you can watch it knowing that this is how some women feel, and I'm so glad you didn't, and you shouldn't. I want to speak to you pregnant women and women who are looking to have your babies, and maybe you're watching this with your partner, your spouse, whomever. For you guys who are preparing to have a baby, the primary goal when it comes time to deliver is to deliver. That's the goal. The goal is to get the baby from inside of you outside of you. And then there are secondary goals. So the secondary goals might be to do it without medication, or to do it with medication, to, I don't know, to be above your thoughts, and, you know, the kind of, there's just this whole realm of thinking about pregnancy. These people who talk about being above the pain and like self-talk and all of that. And I actually do believe a lot of it, but I just feel like, I guess the reason why I talk about it in sort of a joking way is we can overthink all of this, and reality is having a baby is so crazy. It's amazing. Your body is made for it. You can totally do it. And it is also a really wild thing. You are taking a baby it's in here, that's maybe what, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, 8 pounds, 9 pounds. If it's a preemie, maybe it's 2 or 3. But say we're going full term here, people, healthy little babies, then you're about to birth like this fruit-sized little person out of a hole that you didn't even know could do that. And for me, I do know what I'm capable of, and it's still pretty crazy. So the primary goal is get the baby out. Secondary goals can be whatever you want them to be. To do it at home, to do it in a hospital, to do it with a birth coach, to do it without, to do it via C-section. If you know that, some people already know going into their delivery that they are going to get a C-section. And for my friends who have that experience, they are so stoked because they schedule the day that the baby comes. They make plans around that moment. They often have beautiful hair. They have prepared their hair and their faces. When you see the photographs of those mamas and their fresh babies, you know that they got ready for that moment. Versus like when you don't know when the baby's coming and then you see a photo of immediately after the baby and the mom's like, and then you see a photo of like an hour later and she's got her makeup and her hair done. It's a little different. You've got all these secondary goals. What may happen is you go into the labor and delivery experience and stuff goes differently. Maybe you have some sort of health issue come up that you didn't realize was going to be there. Time of day affects your delivery, how the baby is doing. So if you've got your health that they're paying attention to, whether it's your doctor or your nurse or your midwife or whomever, and then the baby's health that you're paying attention to. And while your big goal could be to do it a certain way, like, I don't know, epidural and then a smooth delivery, but then they might find that there's some other stuff that's going a little different than they wanted, and baby's got to come out more quickly than that or differently than that, and you end up getting a C-section. You're doing great. You have done such a good job. I think one element of this that's really important is that when you go into having your baby, you want to trust the people that you're working with. So the medical staff, for one, you want to be able to trust the input that they give you. If somebody's recommending a C-section, that's a big deal. And you want to be able to trust ahead of time that if they're suggesting that, especially if they know that you actually don't want a C-section, then for them to suggest that must mean that there's something about it that is very important, right? So you don't want to feel like you're having to second guess your medical staff while you're in the room, if at all possible. So as your pregnancy kind of develops and you're getting bigger and baby's growing, you want to build a relationship with whoever the people are gonna be that are right there with you delivering that baby. You also want to build trust within your personal team of people. So if it's your spouse that's going to be there with you, you guys want to understand really well what would you like this to look like, knowing that it may look totally different once that moment comes. But if you guys can be on the same page, then that's really helpful. So for example, when I was with my friend late last year and she was having her baby, and we knew going into it that she wanted no medication, a vaginal delivery, like that's the goal, right? So me, her husband, her mother, and her in the room at this hospital. Basically what ended up happening was labor went so very long that the medical staff, who knew her goals as well, and they really liked each other, they had a good relationship going, the medical staff then came in and say, hey, based on what we're seeing here, and the amount of pain that you're in and the amount of kind of suffering, I'll use the word suffering, the amount of suffering the mother was in, and yet the baby still was not coming, and maybe wouldn't come for another 12 to 24 hours. The medical staff was saying, we do have these medications available that can help ease this process along for you. Would you like to consider it? And then because we all understood her goals, we were able to talk it through, not as people who were quick to say, yes, for sure, let's do that because we want to put her out of her suffering, but rather we were able to say, thank you so much for this input. Now we'll bring it to the mama who can decide what she wants to do, knowing that we're behind her 1000%. So if she switches and decides that she wants some medication now that she's been in labor for 24 hours and maybe in labor again for another 24 hours, we're there, we're ready to do whatever she wants. So at that point, she did end up taking some sort of medication. The details are a little blurry to me right now, but basically some low dose of something, but it was not yet the epidural. And then eventually we moved to an epidural. And then what ended up becoming very clear kind of throughout this process was that baby was gonna need to come out via C-section, that the baby was not healthy to be delivered the way that we had originally thought that he would be able to come out. And thankfully she had an amazing medical team there that was able to do this kind of emergency C-section and protect the mom and protect the baby and get this baby out. And yes, she is the mom who experienced a lot of shame afterwards. And I think what I learned through that, as someone who was there as her friend, but also as her kind of honorary midwife. I've never been a midwife prior to that moment. But what I learned is how vital it is for us to understand prior to going into labor that we will not fail. There is absolutely no possible way to fail this delivery. So we might go into it hoping for not getting an epidural, or hoping for a birth in a bathtub, or hoping for a home birth and needing to be transitioned to a hospital. There are lots of things that we can hope for, but ultimately the main thing we want to do here is deliver our baby. And by delivering our baby, whatever means are required to do that healthily, we have not failed. There is no such thing as that. And so the shame thing and the like overwhelming sense of, I'm sorry, I did it wrong. That's not true. That's not, I was gonna say that's not real. The feelings are real, and I wanna validate you if you've ever felt something like that. That's a real experience. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how you get your baby out, you've done an amazing job, and you can feel so proud of yourself and so proud of your body, so proud of the people around you. For those of you guys who are pregnant right now, you probably understand this and agree, depending on where you live. COVID-19 is making everything look different than I want. I am used to delivering my babies in a hospital room with my sister right next to me, and with my honorary mom slash birth coach Gina right next to me, and my husband there without a mask, being my team. And then I'm used to the moment after the baby arrives where people who love us come and we get to celebrate the birth of this little one together. And for me, that's all been really valuable, because my emotions actually feel kind of messed up right after I have my baby, if I'm totally honest with you. It's, in my experience with both babies, I haven't felt this overwhelming sense of like joy the moment the baby came out. For a lot of friends they do, and you probably will. But for me, it actually really helped me to have loved ones around getting really excited next to me, because that helped me to be like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. For me, I think maybe I feel like it takes me a few minutes to come down from the amount of pain and effort that I experienced getting the baby out. And so I've like thrived on my friends and family being excited next to me. And I'm not gonna have that this time around. From my understanding of what will happen when November rolls around and this baby is born, is it will be my husband and I alone in the room with the medical staff, and he will be wearing a mask, and he will not be allowed to leave and come back, and we won't have any visitors, which also means my kids won't get to meet the baby in the hospital room. And all of that feels sad to me. I'm fine, we'll figure it out. That it's not the end of the world, and we need to do our part to protect each other health-wise. I get that. But just like friend to friend, already this doesn't look the way I wanted it to. And it's a process to come to terms with that and accept it and be like, okay, well then how can this look the best that it can possibly look? And realizing that it's only just a little blip in the whole story of parenthood and having a beautiful baby and a beautiful family and building this story together with the ones you love. But yeah, I just want to say that to you, because maybe this is your first baby and you thought it was going to look a totally different way, and now you've been doing your doctor's appointments alone or in a mask, and you go there and everybody's distanced. And that's even a really unique thing, because usually when you're pregnant, I mean, I've been pregnant in Spain both times for part of it, and it's just so warm. The experience of being pregnant is a warm experience where people come and they are excited for you. And in Spain especially, they like touch you and they're cheering for you. Like the moment they see you, they're like, oh, que bonita, que guapa. And in the States, there's some element of that, of people just seeing you and being so excited. But here we're living in this odd social distancing time where it may feel a bit colder than it normally would. Colder in the sense that people are colder to each other, because we're trying to protect ourselves from germs. And so yeah, that's different. That's a lot of change, and not what we expected, huh, in getting pregnant. But if you're doing that right now, I just want to commend you, honor you for it. You're doing so good, and you're going to be so good. And I hope that your labor experience goes exactly the way you want it, and even better than that, that you get to the hospital, and if you want an epidural, you get it and it feels so good, and you take a nap and you watch a movie, and you and your partner, you guys, you and your, I don't know, whoever is with you, if you get to have more people or not, that you laugh and you chill and you have the best time, and that baby comes out and blows your mind with the magic of the moment. If you want to do it unmedicated, if you want to do it at a hospital or at home in a bathtub, I hope that all of your baby delivering dreams come true. But you need to know that if they don't, and it looks totally different than you expect, you are amazing, and you have done such a good job carrying this baby and getting that baby out of you. And really, you need to recover. Once that baby comes out, I want you to recover. I want you to be really gentle on your mind, be as kind to yourself as you possibly can, rest when you can, ask for help, receive help, and know that it's gonna get better. It's gonna get easier. Being a mom and being a parent continues to get more fulfilling as time goes on, and you get to learn each other's ways. So yeah, this is just kind of a feel-good video to say that no matter how it goes, it's gonna be great, and I believe in you, and there's just no such thing as failing this thing or having any reason to feel ashamed of the way you have your baby. No reason to defend your way of having your baby. I feel like sometimes we do that, where we're like, well, I had an epidural, but that was because it was really long and it was really painful. Like, if you got an epidural, you did so good. If you, I mean, whatever, however, you know the story of your own delivery, however you did it, you don't need to defend any part of that. You just feel really amazing that you got this baby into these arms, and you are being an amazing mom. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best in your labor and delivery and pregnancy and baby raising life. And we will see you very soon with the next video. Join us on Facebook. I'll see you on Instagram one day in the faraway future. I really hope. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.